Welding and the related arts of soldering and brazing have been around for a very long time. In fact, the Egyptians used copper in 4000 BCE. That's even before King Tutankhamun's mask was made by soldering in 1330 BCE. In 1846, James Nasmyth discovered new ways of improving forge welding, thus starting the idea of ironworkers. The quote from the book Brave New World is, "The embryos had a horror of the cold. They were presented to immigrate to the tropics to be miners, silk spinners, and steel workers." The addition of oxygen to a flammable gas allowed for higher flame temperatures than had ever been reached before the year 1900. Up until 1906, most welding was done by gas welding, until the invention of spot welding, allowing welders to weld very thin materials. The quote from Brave New World is, 560,000 square kilometers divided into 4 distinct sub-reservations, each surrounded by a high-tension wire fence. In 1911, the first pipeline was created using oxyacetylene welding. In 1912, the first welding machines were manufactured by Lincoln Electric. Right around the same time, before World War I had started, they were welding boats together. But unfortunately, the boats were not suitable because of the cracking of the welds in the water. Just before the First World War ended in 1917, England had a major gas shortage, so they could no longer manufacture using gas-welded bombs, so they had to resort to electric arc welding. During the Roaring Twenties, there was a lot going on for welding. Many evolutions in welding came about. For example, X-ray technology for checking the soundness of a weld. Boats started to be welded instead of riveted, which making a more sturdy weld. Cars could now be made much faster with automatic welding. In 1928, railroads were now being welded together, therefore allowing for quicker installing of tracks. In 1962, NASA needed to build the Mercury space capsule, and they decided to use a TIG welder to weld the titanium together. Modern-day welding has come a long way. Now we have robotic welding, on-board computers that program the welding, and state-of-the-art electrodes and exotic multiple gas mixtures. In the year 2000, magnetic pulse welding was introduced. Also, there was X-ray used to weld metal together. The use of diode laser welding made it so that we could weld materials such as stainless steel and titanium foil. Now, what do we think will happen to the future of welding? Well, Jim Guild, executive director of Shaw, thinks that in 2015 the future of welding is closely linked to manufacturing industry, which is currently showing no signs of real growth. There is a wide variety of reasons why manufacturing is suffering, and it is slightly surprising just how stable the welding industry has been now that there's continuous development of new applications and techniques. In the year 2020, welders will be able to weld wood together. The use of friction can cause 2 pieces of wood to fuse together, literally welding them together, says Geek.com. In the year 2030, doctors will be able to weld skin together instead of applying stitches. Laser skin welding was investigated as a general model for laser tissue closure. Scan delivery of near-infrared laser radiation in combination with a dye can produce strong welds with limited thermal damage, says laser surgeon Med. In the year 2040, all welding will be done by computer-automated machines. The quote from Welding Guru states that welding will become increasingly automated as it is integrated into the entire manufacturing design and coordination with improved information systems. In the year 2050, everything will be able to be welded. For example, famous female welder Jamie McMillan says, "It's amazing to know that my welds contribute to structural integrity of buildings that will stand for years." Also, in the book Brave New World, in a single 60-story building in Fleet Street.